What's up, Burn Nation? Welcome back to the Burn Bootcamp Podcast. My name is Devan Kline. I'll be with you every single week here on the Burn Bootcamp Podcast. Listen, I'm the visionary, and so what that means is that I get to come talk about stuff that is happening in the future with Burn Bootcamp, but also be able to take you all on the journey, really what's going on in my life and how I navigate the decisions that we make in the organization every day, and navigating that through our core values, through our business philosophies, through our own personal philosophies. And so I'm going to share some of those things with you. What I'm going to share with you today is 5 tips for discovering your passion and discovering your purpose. You can take this one of 2 ways, right? We can go and we can take this like as a blueprint 1 through 5. Hey, I got to go do these 5 things. Or it could possibly be just some nuggets for you, okay? Or positive reminders. And so let me just give you the 5 tips first, and then I will elaborate on them quickly. All right, tip number 1 is, what are you great at? That's a question I'm going to answer you, have you answer rather. Number 2, what inputs versus what outputs do you have in your life? We'll elaborate on that. Number 3, everyone is your mentor. That's a very important point. Number 4 is, all of us have to have push and pull goals. We'll explain that. And number 5 is, no matter what, keep moving. So these are the 5 tips. Let's start with number 1. Let's break this down. All right. The outcome here is, how do we discover our passion and our purpose? It's very important that we do this because we spend the vast majority of our life going through, that's what you would call work or career or whatever that pursuit is for you. And you want to make sure that the vast majority of time that you're spending awake, that you are pursuing something that's worthwhile, that's noble, that's a fulfilling cause that can contribute not only to yourself and your family, but your community around you as well. And where I want to start with this is, what are you great at, right? What are you great at? Because what you're great at, right, what you love doing is usually somewhere in the same realm as what you're skilled at, what you're talented at. And when you're talented and you're skilled at something, there's a lot higher probability that you're going to find that value, that fulfillment in it. There's a lot higher probability that you're going to discover your passion and your purpose when you're great at something, when you're talented at it. People do not want to suck at their job, right? They don't want to suck at what they do. And so if you're great at something, naturally, that's a target, that's an indicator that you should continue to pursue that path. And if you're pursuing that path, listen, you can make money. You can create a career out of anything. Cameron has this YouTube lady that she watches, or at least used to watch, called Mrs. Hands. And Mrs. Hands just paints her fingernails over and over and over, different colors, different paint schemes. She dips her fingers in like paint and then shows the kids the different colors. This lady has 25 million views per video on average, okay? If she's just great at painting her fingernails, you can create a business. You can create financial freedom. You can create a life that you love doing anything, as long as you're following what you're great at. That's number 1. Number 2, tip number 2, how do you discover your passion and your purpose? Well, your inputs are going to equal your outputs. So garbage in, garbage out, right? If you don't have positive influence coming in, if you don't have optimism coming in, if you have pessimism coming in, your ears, what you're watching, what you're consuming with your eyes, then you're not gonna have a good attitude, right? If the things that are coming in are pessimistic and negative and see the world glass half empty, well, I'll tell you something, and I'm not suggesting that I'm right or wrong, or this is like a universal truth, but I've been through, how would you say, a lot of games as an entrepreneur and as a leader, and I'll tell you that most people that I encounter, most people, they don't pay attention. They don't have a filter. They don't take inventory or audit the inputs, right? Everybody's worried about the activity, the output. How can I be focused on productivity and performance? But what you take in really matters. That's the raw materials. That's the ingredients, what you watch, what you read, what you write about. Okay, what you're listening to, these things, these inputs are all the raw materials for you to be able to then output something that you're truly passionate and it truly drives your purpose. And so if you want to discover, right, that's the name of this whole podcast. If you want to discover your passion and your purpose, well, the way you're going to do that most often is by putting together pieces from other people's story, other people's journey, what other people have accomplished as an input. And then the output is piecing all of those different things that you liked about other businesses, other people, other personalities, taking what you love about yourself, marrying those things together, and then creating your own unique output. I like to say there's nothing new under the sun. Everything is just a rendition or a nod or a tribute to the thing that came before it. I mean, even electric vehicles nowadays, like Elon Musk wasn't the first one to ever think about, ooh, what if a car was, ran off electricity? This has been a thought we've had for many, many years. We've tried to get cars to run off water, for example, right? So there's nothing new under the sun. It's just how well are you able to execute? And tip number one, if you're great at it, you're going to have a higher probability to execute. Number two, if you have great inputs, meaning you're not sitting around and complaining about the life circumstances or the blueprint misalignment that you have in your life. Okay, but the inputs aren't there. You're not reading the books. You're not doing the work. You're not studying. You're not learning. You're never going to grow. Okay, tip number three, everyone is your mentor. I had to adopt this one as tip number three is really important for me personally and really allowed me to discover my passion and my purpose because, guys, I didn't even know, like, being the visionary co-founder of Burn Bootcamp, it's, a big company now. And I didn't even know what the word entrepreneur was when I was 24 years old. I mean, I knew how to do it, I think intrinsically, but I didn't even know what it was. And it's because I never had any mentors growing up. And, I was ignorant, right? And I'm not trying to put myself down or self-deprecate, but ignorant just means lack of knowledge, lack of awareness, lack of intelligence, lack of acute sense of what's going on in the moment. And as a 24-year-old entrepreneur, as I do my air quotes for those of you listening on audio, as an entrepreneur, like, I didn't even know what that was. You follow me? And so fast forward 10 years later to be one of the Morgan and I to be one of the top ones in our class is like, I needed to take this philosophy that everyone was my mentor. I grew up with no male role models in my life. Like, the males that I were looking up to were, my father and his brothers, my uncles and my dad. They're cut from the same cloth. I mean, drugs and alcohol, multiple children by multiple women. These are not the people, although I love them, these aren't the people that I'm looking up to find the pathway in life, to find the road in life. So everyone is your mentor, right? I learned what not to do from some of the actions, some of the behavior, some of the ways that they led their lives. For example, I never got taught core values or core philosophy. And so now I'm taking core values and core philosophy from anyone that I meet, okay? Anybody that I meet, anyone's hand that I'm able to shake, this person can teach me something. There's a layer of humility that's built into that, as well as there's a layer of discovering your passion and purpose that's built into that as well. I had a mentor, a buddy of mine now who is big in franchising, who just saw us originally and was like, hey, what you guys are doing, nobody's doing that. You should really go after this. Like, he gave me confidence. He was my mentor. One little interaction gave me just enough confidence that I needed to take this thing as far as we can. Okay, number 4 and 5 are going to go a little bit quicker here. So push and pull goals is number 4. You want to have a push goal and you want to have a pull goal. A pull goal is something that pulls you forward. This is the one that you're most familiar with. Okay, this is how we discover our purpose and our passion over time, as success breeds ambition as you get closer to that goal in the future. Okay, that pull goal. Okay, that's what's enchanting enough to pull you forward through the obstacles, through the downturns in business, through the downturns in your own personal life. And the push goal, which is I think where most people get wrong, and this is a real back to the intro. This is a question that you can audit yourself on. The push goal is what's pushing you from behind. And that's a more important goal because that's usually has something to do with your past trauma, your past experiences. You've already experienced that before. So that's real. That's made manifest inside of your head already, inside of your physical world already. So that push goal is pushing you from behind, motivating you, something you're running away from that you refuse to go back to. And the pull goal is something pulling you forward. I refuse to go back, put my children in a position that I was when, growing up on welfare and on poverty and putting them in the position to not succeed in life. And my pull goal is very one and the same, is to show them a life that the opposite of what I had. So very, very quickly push and pull goals. And then finally, the last one, number 5, and this is more of a philosophy than anything else. It's to pursue your passion and purpose takes consistent dedication over a long period of time. It's hard, it's difficult, it's uncomfortable, it's not easy, it's not quick, it's not overnight. It'll take you 10 years to become an overnight success at anything that you do. And the number one tip along the journey, and you guys hear me say this all the time, is just keep moving forward. No matter how many times you get knocked down. As cliche as this sounds, I'm just going to keep getting up. There's nobody that can keep me down, that can pin me down. And you got to take the same attitude. Can't stop, won't stop, because you control your attitude, you control your effort, and you control your belief. And when you have control of those 3 things, life is in your own hands. It doesn't matter what temperature is outside. It doesn't matter how hot or how cold it is. What matters is that you have control of you and that you can keep moving forward. So that's 5 tips on discovering your passion and on your purpose, guys. Thank you for being here. Make sure that you leave a review on anywhere where you listen to podcasts. Well, those reviews are so important to us. Let us know how we're doing. Let us know how we can serve your life better. Until next time, everybody, 2 claps on 2. 1, 2.